My name is Dale Galipo.
My name is Renée Valentine Masongsong.
My name's Valenzuela. I'm an attorney here at the law offices of Dale K. Galipo.
We started in 1991, but about 20 years ago, I decided to specialize in civil rights cases.
This was possibly the biggest case that this firm has ever had. It was a very high-profile case.
The case grabbed the public attention, especially in a time when the actions of police officers and shootings were under strict scrutiny. This is a rare case because, in my view, the evidence was so overwhelming that the force was excessive that I decided to do something that I don't often do, and that is ask the judge, before the jury got the case, to say, as a matter of law, based on the facts and the law, the shooting was unreasonable and excessive. And the judge did. He ruled just that.
So the only thing that the jury had to decide really was the nature and extent of the damages, of the injuries, and award an amount for that.
But the biggest hurdle in the case was the first two questions on the verdict form. The first question was the officer acting under color of law. The second question was whether the officer was acting under the course and scope of his employment with the city of Los Angeles. Now, I knew if I got a no to one, I'm going to get a no to two. I was in federal court. I needed a unanimous verdict. So half of my closing argument was focused on getting that finding. I went about it in a couple different ways. I went about it first to impassion the jury. The city decided to fire this officer, and they thought that was enough. This is not how our officers act. And I suggested to the jury, they're throwing their officer, who they hired, who they screened, who they trained, they're throwing him under the bus. And why are they throwing him under the bus? Because they don't want to pay these poor people a dime. Because they, the city of Los Angeles, refuses to accept any responsibility. He had a concealed weapon on his person only because he was an LAPD officer. The plaintiffs told you they heard him announce himself as a police officer before the shooting. And multiple people said he announced himself as a police officer after the shooting. He showed his ID. He admitted he was acting based on his LAPD training. He believed he was acting under his official capacity as a police officer. Now, what he did was wrong, and he needs to take responsibility, but the city of Los Angeles also needs to take responsibility. And if you look at the jury instruction, talking about foreseeable risk, if they're going to allow their officers to carry guns and use their guns when they're off duty, this is a foreseeable thing that's going to happen. Does anyone think that this would have happened if he wasn't an off-duty police officer? The day before closing arguments, I was able to put on Dr. Omalu and the animation, and those were both new to the jury. They had Dr. Omalu with his amazing past, describing the trajectories, describing the body positioning, and then they got to see the animation.
But when they finally saw that visual, I can't even do it justice to describe the reaction on their face. I mean, I literally saw some jaws dropping. The horrific imagery of somebody shooting 3 people inside of a Costco. Because like I said, you could already picture how horrible that is, but till you actually see it visually with all the details, how the people that were there would have experienced it, that was really powerful, and the surveillance didn't do that justice, and the animation really did. It went to the jury close to lunchtime on Wednesday, and they came back with the verdict a little bit before 5 o'clock. We were shocked that that's a pretty short time. Then they found that the officer acted under color of law, acted within the course and scope of his employment as a Los Angeles, police officer, and they awarded a little over $17 million.
Receiving the verdict in this case was particularly gratifying because this was just a kind, compassionate family, and this family in particular had been through so much, and that's something that was really evident in the animation, and that was so powerful to show the jury.
The animation did a couple things, I think, to help us. First of all, it made the shooting look so unbelievably excessive that someone viewing it could not, in good conscience, say that shooting was justified. I would really urge the trial lawyers, my brothers and sisters out there, no matter how accomplished and successful you are or whether you're just getting going, I would really think about using an animation, working with DK Global. If your case is going to settle, it's a recoverable expense and it's going to enhance the value. If it's going to trial, it's a great thing to have. And contact DK Global early on so that they can guide you and help you.